Okay, so it's been 2 days since this sinew's cured, and it's nice and dry on both the top as well as the bottom. So at this point, we need to move on. And I want to first of all select a foreshaft. So again, in this quiver, I have a whole bunch of hardwood foreshafts. This is arrowweed. And I want to check some of the pieces to make sure they're straight and they're free of checking. So this piece looks really good right here. I'll just set this to the side. This piece looks decent. And this piece looks good. So I'll have a few different choices. Now, I don't want to go with a piece that's thinner in diameter with this size dart. For example, these foreshafts right here would make good arrow foreshafts, but not for an Atlatl dart. Well, at least a dart this size. What's the problem? Well, it's thinner in diameter than the dart, so this is most likely going to break once it hits that target. So I need a foreshaft that's thicker in diameter that matches up to this specific dart that is going to withstand all the momentum and all the energy when hitting the object. So these pieces are nice and thick. This one looks really good. I have a feeling I'll just go ahead and choose this. We'll start removing the bark, getting down underneath the cambium, and we'll start shaping it out a little bit later. But what I need to do also is hollow out the bottom section where my foreshaft is going to seat inside. And I also need to hollow out the top of my dart where the spur fits inside. So I usually go down about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. And I have a few bone tools to do so. So these are just a few bone awls I've made. And these work very, very good to hollow out pieces of mule fat or willow. And I just kind of scrape the wood on the inside. So just like this, I'll take that bone piece and I'll slowly start hollowing it out on both ends. And once I finish that top section, I can move on to the bottom. And what I do is I take my bone tools and I just pinch it in between my feet like so. I place my Atlatl dart on the inside, and I already got a head start on this. And much like the hand drill, I just start working the piece down. Just like this, all the way down. Now, as you guys can see, that bone did quite well at hollowing out this bottom section as well as the top. But one thing I'm noticing is I got to thin out this sidewall just a bit. I don't want to go overboard, but I definitely want to start thinning out towards the very bottom where my foreshaft starts to widen up. And in order to do so, I have a couple different stone tools that I use. Well, 2 different drills, I should say. And I just made these a couple days ago, and I find they work quite well for this particular application. I just take my stone drill and I place it on the inside of the hollowed out section where my foreshaft is going to sit, and I just scrape around. And this slowly starts to thin that sidewall out. So I'll just continue on until I get this thing fairly thin. Okay, so as you can see, we have this bottom hollowed out. We have the top kind of carved out there for the Atlatl spur. And at this point, I'm going to start shaping out my foreshaft. And this is how I want my foreshaft to look. So you can see both pieces. This one is already complete. And I might even use this at the end of the video. I like to make foreshafts universal for all my darts. So if this dart breaks, I can just slip this foreshaft into a different dart. So again, this is what we're going after. And I have a few tools to help aid me in removing this bark. I have some stone scrapers here. You can see we have a couple pieces of obsidian, and then we have a nice sharp piece of basalt, which is a harder stone. And then I have a stone knife to help me get underneath that, underneath the bark, especially with some of the thicker spots. So I'm gonna start off with the piece of basalt, and all I do is I just scrape just like this. And I just twist the foreshaft around. So I've migrated over to this piece of obsidian. I found a nice pocket. You can see right in through here. And it really does a good job at smoothing this piece out. I doubt I'll even have to use sandpaper. I'll just burnish the shaft with the antler tine, and we'll shape it out to look identical to this foreshaft right here. So we'll have the same thing, and we'll secure our tip on. So I'll just go ahead and continue to shape this out, and we'll finish this up. By next video, we'll start our fletchings on our dart.